So this is the Moto G Stylus 2026, and honestly, this one is a bit complicated. On paper, it looks like a solid mid-range phone with a built-in stylus, a big battery, and a bright OLED display, but once you actually start using it, you realize this phone is kind of stuck in between being really cool and being kind of underwhelming. Starting with the design of this device, this is classic Motorola. You've got a 6.7-inch phone with a textured vegan leather back right here, which is actually really nice. It looks really sexy. It also feels really nice on the back right here. Very solid to the touch. It's comfortable, not too slippery, and it looks a bit more premium than most of the phones in this price range. And Motorola deserves credit where credit is due. Obviously, we have a headphone jack on this device, which is beautiful to see, and we have expandable storage as well, up to 1 terabyte. Love to see it. And of course, the star of the show is here. We have a built-in stylus inside of this device, and not just a basic stylus you get in mid-range or budget devices, but we have an active stylus. That already alone makes this device really stand out, and it's also surprisingly durable with IP68 and even IP69 water resistance, which is very rare at this price point. So the design of this device is absolutely a win overall. Getting into the display, we have a 6.7-inch OLED panel, 120 Hz refresh rate, and an insane 5000 nits peak brightness on this. And in real world use, it looks great. Colors pop, scrolling is smooth, and it gets bright enough to even use outdoors. So for the people that are getting ready for summertime, you are going to have a really good time with this device. That said, it's not dramatically better than last year's G Stylus 2025. It's good, but it's nothing crazy. Getting into the stylus, this is essentially the main selling point of this phone right here. The stylus is now active, which is a huge upgrade, of course. We have pressure sensitivity on this. We have tilt support. We have much better palm rejection on here as well, which I've used over and over again, and it's worked perfectly. I haven't got any accidental bumps or, hand marks on the screen where, I was drawing something or I was, doing a sketch to image or annotating or whatever. My hands never even left any sorts of mark or ink on the display, which is beautiful to see. We also have faster note-taking shortcuts on this, and honestly, it's pretty fun to use. You can jot down notes instantly, you can sketch, you can use features like sketch to image, and even do things like handwriting recognition. Now, if you're a student, someone who takes quick notes, or just likes having a stylus, this is one of the best options under $500. There aren't many out there, and of course, you guys can get the older version of this device, but the only other options we really see other than the Moto G styluses are, of course, the $1,300 Galaxy S26 Ultra. But here's the thing, if you don't care about the stylus, this phone instantly becomes way less appealing. As far as the performance goes, this is where things start to fall apart a bit. Motorola reused the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 chip again, and it's okay. It's honestly pretty solid. Social media scrolling is going to be smooth. Your day-to-day multitasking and stuff like that is fine. Even video games like Call of Duty Mobile, even Genshin Impact on the lower graphical settings, and things like PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends are going to play just fine on this. But if you push it a little bit harder, like you need to do intensive multitasking like 4K editing and things of that nature, the phone is going to absolutely fall apart. So if it's pushed a little bit harder, you're absolutely going to feel it. This is not a super powerful device, but for the majority of people, you're definitely going to get by. I don't think the majority of people out there need a crazy processor inside of here. I was just hoping for something a little bit snappier than this processor, especially since we saw this in the 2025 variant. This is absolutely not a performance-focused phone, and competitors in the same price range are faster and, of course, more future-proof with your updates. So if you're into crazy multitasking, this is not the phone to get. Getting into the cameras on this device right here, of course, we get a pretty decent camera setup overall. It's essentially the same thing we saw in last year's Moto G Stylus. We have the same Lydia 700C sensor inside this device, so same 50 megapixel main camera. We get the ultra wide, we get the macro combo on this device as well, 32 megapixel selfie camera, and overall you get very, very sharp photos and good lighting. Bit over processed and saturated at times, but I feel like the majority of people are going to be very happy with the performance we get on this device overall. So this is going to be very, very good for casual use, but it's not really great if you care about photography. If you're looking for a phone that does photography and videography very well, I would look to the Pixel 10a. That's going to be in the same price range at about $499, maybe cheaper elsewhere. But for the majority of people that are really deep into photography, you're going to have a better time on the Pixel 10a. When we get into video on this device, there is a little bit of a juddering effect. 1080p 30 is not the greatest on the rear. Things can get a little bit dematerialized or a little bit noisy when shooting video, so it's not the greatest rear video camera on here. But when we get into the, front-facing camera, the video is a little bit better overall. I feel we get some sharp footage, we get some good colors, and we get some good stabilization overall. But it's nothing insane. This is absolutely going to be for the casual camera user, and honestly, I feel like the majority of people are casual camera users. So if you're not a camera nerd or a pixel counter, I feel like this is going to be totally fine. But I did want to note still, the Pixel 10a does photography and videography much, much better. As far as the battery life and charging, the battery life is actually one of the stronger points of this device. We get a 5200 milliamp battery inside of here. It will easily last you a full day and then some. Some people are even reporting getting 2 days of battery life out of this device. And charging is very solid on this device as well. We get 68 watt wired charging. However, we do not have the inclusion of a charger inside this box. So that's something that I really, really don't like about Motorola's devices, is that, they're offering such good charging rates, but the majority of people are not, toting around a 68 watt charger inside their house. They're just using their backup, 20 watt or 25 watt charger. So you're not getting the full experience out of this device, if you don't have, one of those fast chargers in your arsenal. So kind of sucks that Motorola didn't offer that inside the box, especially since it's a standout feature. The other cool thing about this device, however, is that we do get 15 watt wireless charging, which is something that we don't get on the Galaxy A57, which is $50 more than this device. So that's pretty cool to see that we have wireless charging on this device. Samsung, keep up with that, honestly. Pretty impressive for a mid-range phone. Again, sucks that we don't get a charger inside the box. I absolutely, immensely disagree with that, Motorola. And of course, probably the biggest downside of the Moto G Stylus 2026 is we get 2 operating system updates. We go from Android 16 to Android 18, and we have 3 years of security patches. So that's not really, really great in 2026, especially, compared to some cheaper devices like the Galaxy A17, you get 6 years of operating system updates, and even, a device that's in the same price range, the Pixel 10a, you get 7 years of operating system updates. So not really impressive for a $500 phone. I was really, really hoping for more. The software itself is clean and close to stock Android, so you guys are going to get a very, very smooth and solid experience compared to other devices like Samsung. Samsung's One UI, that has a very heavy skin over it, so it takes a lot more processing power to actually run that UI on your device. So very, very clean vanilla stock Android on this. As close as you can get to a Google phone without being a Google phone. But again, the long-term software support is just not there. And of course, the absolute biggest problem about this device is the price tag. Now, I have seen some really good deals on this device, and if you are looking to pick up this device, do yourself a favor and get it from Motorola's website. It's sold out on Amazon anyways, and Best Buy has it in stock at their stores and stuff, but you really only get the incentive of a $25 gift card if you go in store or you buy online. So if you are thinking about picking up this phone, I would go to Motorola's website, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. They are currently offering the Moto G Stylus 2026 with the Moto Buds, and they're also going to be giving you 4 Moto tags as well. So really, really good deal right there. I haven't seen a deal like that anywhere else. You're getting essentially like a $200 value on top of getting the Moto G Stylus 2026 for only $500. So that itself is a pretty solid deal. It's not the greatest, deal of all time, but I feel like it's much better than a $25 gift card. But again, that $500 on this device, kind of discouraging, especially since last year the G Stylus 2025 was $100 less. And the problem is it's basically the same phone as last year, apart from a better stylus. So we haven't really got too many huge upgrades inside this device, or not that I can see, honestly, spending a few weeks with this device so far. And that makes this device a really, really tough sell. So the bottom line is, if you're wanting to buy this device, make sure you're getting this device from a prepaid carrier like Metro by T-Mobile, and you're getting a solid deal like getting it for free or getting a heavy discount, or maybe wait till they come out with the back to school day sales or the holiday deals at the end of the year, and you can snatch this device up for like $350, because we know Motorola devices go on sale all the time. At this price tag for $499, I absolutely cannot recommend this right now, sadly. And also, if you are going to buy this, you got to make sure that you actually want a stylus and you want features like a headphone jack and an SD card expansion, and you want a solid battery life. If you want things of that nature, pick up this device. It's totally going to be a solid device for the next few years. But make sure you want a stylus in this phone, because cannot recommend this if you don't want a stylus. If you don't want a stylus, pick up something like the Pixel 10a. And of course, if you care about the performance, top tier cameras, and long software support, the Pixel 10a is just going to seem, more appealing to you naturally. So, I think that device is just a better device overall. And of course, there's going to be many other people in the comment section that are going to give you guys advice on what phone to pick up. So there's a bunch of different devices from Oppo, OnePlus, Xiaomi, a bunch of different devices out there that you guys can pick up. But honestly, if you're not looking for a stylus, do yourself a favor, pick up the Pixel 10a. Has a better processor, has better haptic feedback, has better cameras, has a better software support as well. So keep that in mind. The Moto G Stylus 2026 is a solid device overall. We have had the inclusion of some solid updates, especially to that active stylus that we have inside of here. But for the majority of people out here, this is going to be a hard pass.